I took a moment to browse the feed of Krew season, and a lot of the questions are based on like, why do women do this? Why do men do that? Why do women do this? Why do men do that? And let's really just dive into behavior issues. Why people do the things they do? Why men do what they do? Why women do what they do? Because that seems to be the core issue of women trying to understand men, men trying to understand women, and instead of focusing on what they had control over, which is yourself. So that's what I think we should talk about.
First off, if I just gotta throw the question out there, do you feel like the downfall of relationships have more to do with what the women aren't doing or what the men aren't doing?
What women aren't doing?
More times than not. When a relationship goes wrong, what's your first thought? Hearing about it, just not having no outside knowledge or nothing. You just heard somebody that been together broke up. What's your first thought in that?
Somebody was letting stuff happen and someone was doing something. Like there's something in terms of you're in a situation where this is your idea of what went wrong, but it's often the blame is shifted on the other person.
Right.
But that's the whole point. It's like, what was your role in this? Because I can't sit here and you tell me you break up with your girlfriend, and what I'm gonna ask, what was your role? I'm not gonna be like, what happened? You're gonna give me the view from your perspective of what happened. 10 out of 10, it's not gonna be like, well, I fucked up, I did this. You're gonna say, man, she be tripping, I'm trying to do this, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And you're gonna point the finger. That's what happens.
I agree that normally happens when you ask him. See, the issue is when we ask her, we don't get that same energy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, even if she the one that cheated.
Women cheat.
Good take. She's not trying to be real this time. No, because a lot of times, even when the woman does cheat, right, they get a chance to explain themselves. There's valid reasoning behind it, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? But when a man cheats, it's just, he ain't shit. He just out here just hitting whatever. He just a terrible person, right? But when the woman cheats, it's okay. Let's break down a relationship. Let's get into why she would do something like that.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like it's a double standard in that regard? Because
women are emotional. I guess more emotionally inclined than men. So 9 times out of 10, if a woman cheated, it's because there's something her man's not giving her. She's feeling like whoever she was talking to, there's some type of emotional connection or establishment that she has there, in my opinion, that she's now turned into an act, whether it's intimacy or whatever. And then that's where you haven't been paying attention to me, or like, he asked me how my day was, he knows my favorite color, and he brings me lunch to work, and things like that. So, I feel like for a woman, it's more logical, I guess, like to try to explain or justify their cheating. With men, it's not so much so, because men don't really, I don't know that men have that aspect. Like, if, as a man, you go out and sometimes you just want to do somebody else, and you do. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have that emotional connection to the person.
So you know what's crazy about that, how I feel as far as women cheating? I feel like women don't communicate as well as they claim to. See,
in what capacity?
Communication, just in telling us how you want, as far as, not how you want, but what you want.
For sure.
As far as how to please you emotionally.
Absolutely.
Because most men come into the relationship, we don't know anything about emotional compatibility or how to understand you from that perspective. Because that's just not something that we raised with, you know what I'm saying? So we got to run into a woman that's patient enough to sit us down and be like, look, this is how I respond to this. This is how I need you to respond to me responding to this. This is what this means, X, Y, Z. We literally like break it down for us. A lot of women don't do that. A lot of women get mad that we don't understand them from a communication standpoint, and they'll either lash out and yell and go completely left, which we don't hear that shit, because when you're yelling at us or you're attacking us, we is going in one ear and out the other, or we're on the defensive. So we not really communicating, you know what I'm saying, like we should be. But a lot of women feel like, oh, well, I express how I feel all the time. It's ways to express that's more efficient.
Absolutely.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Than a lot of women do. A lot of women don't understand that. And because of that, they go out and
see.
You know what I'm saying?
What they need. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like that gets overlooked a lot. Women are under the assumption that they communicate very well all the time.
Yeah.
And that's just not true.
It's not.
But the thing is, a lot of men don't even feel manly communicating that, because it's like or we don't feel like the lane is open enough for us to communicate that.
But what type of behavior from a woman would make you feel like, because I feel like honestly this is not just a woman thing, this is
true.
Both men and women should be able to come to each other. If you're in a relationship and you say, hey, you know what, this is what I need from you that I'm not getting.
Right.
And that goes both ways. It's a responsibility of both individuals in the relationship to say, hey, this is what I need and this is what you're not giving me. I need more of that from you.
Right.
Because everybody receives and gives love completely differently.
Right.
Like, we don't have the same needs as people, and it's important to learn your partner what they need and what they want, but if you're not getting it, you have to have that conversation. But what do you feel that like needs to be, I don't know, transpire?
I feel like men need an outlet to where we can communicate with the woman we love without it being taken personal. And I feel like a lot of times that happens. So it's like, we'll want to give you some advice on what you can improve on, but we scared to get our head bit off in the process of doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's no nice way to say, hey, well, in our opinion, when we talking to y'all, it's no nice way to say, hey, you not doing X, Y, Z.
Right.
We feel like most women gonna take that and be like, what? Or they gonna like take that and get mad and then jump right into what we not doing in response, instead of being like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to work on that. And even if they do got issues with us, I'm not saying that they shouldn't feel comfortable expressing that as well. But take the criticism, work on that, and you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of taking it personal, like, oh, this nigga attacking me. Like, why are you attacking me? No, I don't do that. Why are you telling me I do it? No, I don't. Instead of being like, you know what? Let me, you know, self-evaluate and go back and come back to the table. I feel like if that happened more often, we would communicate a lot better and we would communicate a lot more. But I feel like that doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. And it happens with men too.
I agree.
We definitely just had this conversation, but men do the exact same thing. And it's an issue of lack of self-awareness.
Right.
Period. That's what it boils down to. If you're in a committed relationship with somebody, there should be absolutely nothing wrong. As a matter of fact, you should receive it as love and respect that your mate is coming to you and say, hey, you know what, you're fucking up, as nicely as they can, obviously with respect, but you should want that. I mean, we can't live in a society where everything's going to be people saying what you want to hear. That's not real, and you're never going to grow in situations where nobody's holding the mirror up to you.
I agree.
You have to be able to receive criticism and give it, and know yourself enough to know, like, you know, okay, he's right. Even if I don't want to necessarily hear this, he's telling me because he wants me to be better. He's giving me an opportunity to be better. Right. He could have went off and found somebody who was doing that for him.
Which what most guys do, which is wrong.
It is absolutely wrong. It's absolutely
wrong.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, if he does come to you and he's telling you that, hey, this is what I need from you and I need you to get better, receive that as love and, you know, and work on being a better person, because ultimately in the end, that's all he's trying to do.
Right. Do you feel like there's anything that we can improve on as far as taking communication better?
Yeah, I run into an issue a lot with men that, like, they don't know how to express themselves.
Right.
And I think the more I run into it, I'm not gonna say I'm sensitive with men, but I feel like I've learned to communicate with them in a way that allows them to feel like it's a non-judgment zone, because at the end of the day, men just want to be accepted. And if you can accept them, if they know that you accept them, no matter how raggedy their shit is, no matter what they got going on that, you know, isn't pretty to other people, they'll trust you.
Right.
And so if you can come to them in a non-judgmental way, listen to what they're going through. Also, I'm learning this because I'm very solution oriented, but I have to learn that sometimes they don't want a solution. They just want an ear. And if you can just listen, without implementing your solutions, because depending on the mental state of this individual or this man, it may feel like he might take it like you don't think he's competent enough to come up with solutions.
That's true. That's true.
So, you know, just knowing who you're dealing with and knowing when is the right time to give advice, but most importantly is just no judgment and accepting him for who he is, because I think that's why men cheat.
That is very interesting. I think that might be the first time that I've ever heard that be used as reason coming from a woman as to why men cheat. And the thing is, that's actually not too far off, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some men cheat just because the ass is available.
Sure.
And let's just put that on the table. That's honest.
That's convenience.
But we're talking about the guys that are like really like, you know what I'm saying, can hold it together.
Right.
That definitely can push us over the edge as far as that. Because if we feeling like, well, we can't even communicate with you while we with you.
Exactly.
And a lot of times with the other chick, we can communicate with her way better and she way more receptive. Truth be told, her not having anything to lose helps that. Right. Her not being invested helps that. But in our eyes, it still feels like she's understanding, she's listening to us at least. And a lot of times we don't feel like we're getting that at home. You know what I'm saying? Without, again, it being taken personal. And without, now she got an attitude around the crib. Now we not talking. Now we not getting sex. Now it's like, okay, damn, all I wanted to do was improve this shit. And you taking it personal. Like I'm just attacking you for no reason. So I agree with that, 100%.
I have a question. Do men, how do you receive, is there, how do you find that balance between having a significant other that is obviously holding you accountable and wants better for you, but is like not borderline motherly, like where you're still feeling like a man and you can make your own decisions and you're feeling empowered to do so? Like where's the fine line there between where a woman now she's nagging or she's getting on you versus her just looking out and trying to help you improve?
Giving us room to actually act out on the improvements that she's placed upon our shoulders to make. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they'll say, hey, I need you to work on this, XYZ, and then we'll try to work on it and she'll be on our neck 2 days later or a day later. It's not going to be an overnight process. Right. You know what I'm saying? Just give us time to implement it, give us time to listen to all your grievances and like really break down why it is you're telling us that, because that's important as well.
The understanding of why.
Bingo. Instead of just giving me some directions and then, you know what I mean? So I need to like really like sit down and, internalize all of this and be like, okay, I get why she would want me to do this. So I'm going to implement these steps slowly but surely. It might take some men longer than others. Sure. But men need that time. If we feel like we're not getting that time, then we feel like, okay, you like,
nitpicking.
Then that's just gonna make us just, you know what?
Right.
I ain't got time. So it's, which happens far too often.
Often, yes.
Yeah.